Hi everyone, I'm going to do an art journal page. I'm using this art journal that I made with heavy paper, 240 gram for a page. It's back to back, no stitching or anything. I've showed lots of times how to do it, and I'm going to start by just gluing pages out of this pocketbook. I really like this method. I've done it lots of times, and just know that the darker the page, the more brittle the paper. I'm going to use my diluted glue. This is a white glue, 2/3 white glue, 1/3 water. I usually use it only with paper napkins, but I'm also using it with this again because it's brittle and I don't want my thick and heavy white glue to drag and disintegrate the page. So this is the easiest background ever. It's just putting down some glue and placing pages as they are all over. And the only thing that I always try to do is align the straight edges with the straight edges of the page, just so I won't have to do too much trimming. I'm also going with the glue on top of the page. It helps seal everything, and most of the time, not always, it prevents too much of the paper will be less curvy or getting all kinds of wrinkles because you've got the same glue underneath and a counter glue on top. And another thing is that I like that everything looks the same, and then it's cohesive when everything is covered with the same material. So I'm just putting down glue. Don't skimp on it. If you'll miss a spot, you'll have an air bubble. Now I'm overlapping, and I'm also changing the direction of the page because it's more interesting to me. You don't have to. You can go with the same direction each time, whatever works for you. So it's very simple and very quick, just covering everything, putting down the glue. Let's see. Maybe I'll go outside. I don't know. Let's go like this, whatever. And again on top. Very easy. I'm always making sure that I have enough glue. I know that it will take longer to dry, but I prefer that it will be even and everything will be glued the same. Okay, of course here I will have a smaller piece that will, and if I put a page it will stick out, but when it's dry I'll just trim it. It doesn't cover the whole thing, so I'll just go like this, and add another piece here later on. The smaller pieces I'm leaving to the end, and then I will cover them. Okay, so if this is sorry, if this is boring for you, you can just scroll forward. And let's see. No. Oops. One got away. Okay. Yeah, good enough. And once again on top. The only thing I'm trying not to do is have the same lines over and over again. I'm trying to put the pages randomly and that I don't have lines that are repeating. It's just a choice. You can go the other way. Lots and lots of glue. Just covering the rest. There is something more that I like with this kind of background. Once it's dry, it looks, although it's just paper, it looks like almost like leather. Also the feel of it. I don't know why, I don't know how it happens, but it does. It's time to just cut something. Again, it's sticking out, and I'll just trim it when everything is dry. I will have a long time to wait for it, but what can you do? I'm putting down a piece here. Okay, let's see. Okay. Almost done. Okay, so everything is covered, and you can also, if you don't like, after you've done this, you don't like something on the background, something feels not right, you can always take other pieces, if it's a whole page or part of a page, and glue wherever you want. So it can create more shapes in between the pages that you've already put on the background. But I'm satisfied with what's going on, so I'm not going to keep filing pages. Now I just need for this to dry, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm still waiting on my background to dry, and I'm also going to do more layers on top of it that will also have to dry. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to do my focal point. I've got this stencil. This one was I bought on Temu. I don't have any anything with them. It's just what I can now purchase. Amazon is are being difficult about sending stuff to Israel, and Temu I can purchase things cheaply, and there is no shipment fee. That's it. That's the only reason that I'm buying from Temu right now. So I'm going to stencil this butterfly. I'm doing it on this black Bristol paper because I want at the end that all the lines will be black. If I didn't have black Bristol paper, I would just have taken some other paper, first painted it black, and then started to stencil. So I'm going to stencil this, and I'm going to start with white gesso. I want my butterfly to be colorful, but if I want to put gesso first, the acrylic paint that I will use won't be as bright as I want. So first I'm going to put some gesso on my page. Let's take something. No. Where is... Let's see. Here it is. Okay. Don't need a lot. I'll start with this. Okay, so I've got a makeup sponge and I've got some white gesso, and I'm going to take it, dab the excess. So it's better to go easy and with very small amount, so you will have a good print of your image. If it still doesn't feel like it's enough, it's better to do another layer than don't. Just, it's better to work with less. Let's leave it at that. If I feel it's not enough, I can wait for it to dry, and gesso dries fastly, and do another layer. So I'm thinking that maybe I will just leave it black, so I'm not going with the gesso here. I'm planning to use yellow and orange on top. Of course, once I'll start, it can change, but that's the plan. You see, I'm always going backwards and dabbing a little bit more if I feel it's needed. When I'm finished with the gesso, I'm not going to move it because I'm just going to stencil with the colors that I've picked on top of the gesso. Now you can do some movement like 1 millimeter to the side in which way you want, and then you will get some kind of a highlight, a white highlight to whatever you are doing, but I'm not interested in that now. So when I'm going to start coloring, I'll just keep it where it is. I'm not moving the stencil. Now, because it's on black, even if I use too much gesso and there is some kind of spillage underneath, I can always fix it with a black permanent marker. Like if I've gone here and I want it to stay black, I also can just fix it with a black permanent marker. Sometimes when I'm using this kind of sponge, it leaves like lines, and then I'm just moving the sponge so it would be more cohesive and less lines or any kind, like I don't want brush strokes for that matter. So if it gives me some lines, I'll just move it around until it's more, I don't know what to call it, solid white shape with no markings on it. Now, of course, if you don't have gesso, you can use a white acrylic paint. I prefer gesso because it dries faster, it's more opaque, and also it has a more chalky finish than acrylic paint, but you can use white acrylic paint. Just dabbing again in places that I feel need a little bit more of the white. Or if I see lines that I don't like, so again I'm just moving on top of it and dabbing a little bit more. Okay, so now I've got some yellow. Let's see, this says dark yellow. Most of the time I don't care for the names of the shades of the color. And this one is just orange. Okay, let's take another sponge, and I'm starting with the yellow. Now it probably will be a little bit translucent, so again I can just dab away and do another layer if it's not enough. Now I'm hoping for some kind of blending in between the yellow and the orange, but first I'm starting with the yellow. Here I'm going for some kind of symmetry, just because I don't have to, but mostly That's how it goes with butterflies, and I decided to go with the symmetry. And as I said, you don't have to. Now I'm dabbing, I'm taking just a little bit of the orange and I'm starting to dab and go a little bit on top of the yellow. So now I've got an in-between. Again, taking just a small amount of the orange with yellow. So I will have in between shade and it would be more blended. Now I'm just taking orange, again dabbing away the excess. Here I'm just doing orange. Maybe I think maybe I will add a little bit more yellow later on. Right now I'm just doing the orange part here. I thought about adding another color, a darker orange at the end, but decided to just leave it be. I like it, and I will probably go again when I'm finished. I'll probably go all around the shapes with a black permanent marker just to make it more defined. So again, I'm doing the same thing on this wing. Just going back when I feel it's not strong enough. And now I'm going for a little bit of the yellow again and just going here where the two colors meet, just so the blending would be better. I think that I need just a little bit more yellow here. Yeah, okay. Yes, of course I will have to do something to define the body of the butterfly, but first I want this to be completely dry before I'm doing anything, so I won't ruin another permanent marker, because I'm always doing it because I don't have any patience for everything to dry. So I'm going to let this dry completely and then I'll continue. I'm thinking maybe I will do let's see, let's align it again, maybe take some, let's see, a gold marker. Let's see if it works. Yes, I've got, this is a Uniball Signal gold marker, and I'm thinking just doing something like this, the outer lines. Okay, so, and here I need some fixing. When I've pulled out the stencil, I've seen I have too much white here, so fixing this. And now I'm going to wait for it to dry and do something with just going around and with a black permanent marker. Oof. Let's see. All these are black permanent markers. I can't do anything without them. So I'll let this dry and I'll be back. Okay, so this is mostly dry and I finished my butterfly, but genius that I am, I managed, while fussy cutting, I managed to cut this, but never mind, I will just, it will be glued to the page, so I don't care. And I just went around some of the elements, and as I said, if something didn't look sharp to me, I just went with a permanent black marker and fixed whatever it is that looked not so sharp. That's it. I haven't done anything more to this. So that's my butterfly that will have to wait. And now I'm moving to the second phase of this background. I've got this stencil, one more from Temu, and I'm going to use modeling paste. If you don't have modeling paste, there are lots and lots of recipes all over YouTube for making modeling paste. Another thing, a lot of times I'm using just a joint compound from the hardware store. I'm using this just because I have it for a long time and I don't want it to just dry, so I'm taking a little bit of the modeling paste and I'm just going, I've got too much here. Okay, so it would be a little bit difficult because with all the glue the page is a little bit wavy, but it doesn't, this phase doesn't have to be sharp or anything. I'm just taking the modeling paste and scraping it, and whatever will be it's more of adding some details to the background, a variation in the back. And if you don't feel comfortable doing something like this, you can just take white gesso and stencil away. It will also work, because what I'm going to do after is use my sprays on top of it. So if you don't want to start messing around with texture, you can just stencil with white gesso and you'll almost have the same effect. So I'm just going each time with a small amount of modeling paste, and I'm hoping I'm not creating a mess like this. Here we go. I made a mess, never mind. Just going here and doing the same thing. As I said, I'm not looking for something precise and crisp here. I'm also thinking of, after I'm doing it, to just take and scrape some of the letters so it will look a little bit distressed. Again, if you want the crisp look, then just stencil with white gesso. If you want it distressed, just do what I'm doing here. Here we go. Putting it here, I can just again small amount and scraping some so it won't be perfect. I'm also thinking about going maybe around the edges and doing something like this, so I will have some kind of, I don't know, distressed a frame for my page. So I'm just going to do this one here. Again, not looking for perfection. Good enough for me. Moving it aside, but don't leave your stencil with modeling paste or not even with gesso or the joint compound. The minute you can, just go and wash it. If it dries, it just ruins the stencil. So now I'm just going around and making this frame. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit out of frame. This is quite large and I don't have where to take it. I think I'll scrape something here also, so it wouldn't be such a block of stencil. Okay, so almost done with framing, and of course I will have to wait for this to dry. Sometimes when I'm doing this kind of project, I'm debating with myself, why do I have to go to all the trouble? I don't have patience for all of this to dry. But at the end, it's always worth it, so what can I say? So again, just scraping off and adding some, so the frame will also go in. I'm trying to eliminate the block from the stencil and make it look more distressed. You can use any stencil that you like. I just wanted some of the words because I've got the words from the pages, and now this, and that's it. So this needs to dry and then I'll continue. I'll be back. Okay, so this is dry and now I'm going to do some use sprays on this. It doesn't have to be sprays, and I will go about all the options you have. I make my sprays from gel, food coloring and water. I don't have measurements, I just put some and test it to see if it's strong enough. If not, I add gel food coloring. Another way to go about it is to use, you can take the powder, the brushos with water and make sprays. You can take textile dyes, again powder with water and have a spray. And if you have the bought ones, of course you can use that. So I'm just going to start spraying. I put some towels underneath just, and of course this spray bottle decided not to work. Never mind, moving on. I've got all kinds. What's going on here? It's a brand new bottle. Just maddening. Okay. Starting at the edges. I'm going with a lot of spray a lot of the time. It will when it's dry it becomes less prominent, less vibrant, so I'm not afraid to spray it. I'm adding just a hint of black here, which doesn't spray that great, so I'm just taking a water bottle and helping this. It's not an exact science. I'm just using what I have. I can also take a brush and help it along. I can also tilt my page and let everything just travel into all the texture I have. So as you can see, right now I'm just using the brush to spread whatever I wanted, and I want a lighter color now. Another way to go about it is, if you like working with watercolors, then of course you can use watercolors with a brush and spread whatever colors you want. And let's see, maybe this color, I'm just playing. I want the inside to be lighter, but this is a little bit too much of a neon color, so I think I'll just go over it with this turquoise or light blue, whatever, just to counter the glow that I got here. So now I've got some kind of green in the middle, don't care. And once again, I need for this to dry completely. I can't do anything else. I can just take again the brush and move a little bit of the puddles that I got where my paper got some curve to it. And of course I can wait for everything to dry, and if I want and it's too faded, I can always go back and add more. But basically this is it. That's my background, and once it's dry, if I like it and it doesn't need more spray, then I will just adhere my butterfly. So basically this is it. So I'm again I need to all of this to dry. I'll be back. Okay, so I waited and waited and waited until all of this dried, and then of course just glued my butterfly, and this is it. In some places I just added a little bit of spray where it gotten a little bit too faded, but otherwise I didn't touch my background. This is it, and that's my page. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for leaving me comments down below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.